Hi, Tom. Welcome to If Innovation Could Talk.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Eva. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, Tom, tell us about you, Drew. What prompted you to start the business?
So Udra was inspired by the renovations at my house. After a 4-year renovation project, it took 7.5 months to get my brick fence approved at the very end of the build. And it came back from the council and they'd misspelt my street name, and I rang them up just to see if that would affect the resale laws later on down the track. And they told me to halt all work immediately and reassess the whole renovation project from start to finish, a 4-year renovation project, before I could finish it, basically, my little fence. And it took about a bit over 10 months to get done. So from the people's side, it's just a pain in the ass. Like, I had the experience from the industry, so I had a good advantage. But it got me thinking how people without that background could even get through the process with their sanity left intact. And yeah, that was one of the big kickers that really made me just go ahead with it.
What does the business do?
Well, it's an online platform that allows anybody, no matter what their experience, to create their own fully certified and council approved building plans in a couple of minutes. So basically just sketch out roughly whatever it is you want to build and position it on your site. As you're doing that, it's autonomously calculating all of the structural engineering, all of the materials that you need for your project, and also checking against all local and national building regulations to make sure it's fully compliant and ready to go. And you can start building straight away without any of that downtime.
Now, when we talked earlier, you came up with this very, very interesting ethos that you have for you, Drew, which is how you're actually looking at a collaborative approach. So a lot of people would say, well, Tom, isn't it more effective when you grow a company to go straight to sales, to go straight to investment? Why collaborate when you can prescribe? So what would you say to that?
Udra is a very ambitious project, and depressingly enough, my superpower is knowing what I suck at. And it's a unfortunately large list of things. Because there are so many areas of value, and I've only got so much life experience in my fields, we figure it's much better to open that up for everybody, to let them build on top and accelerate their own innovations and bring other areas of value that we might not even know about. So our model is very much collaboration and co-innovation, and we work with governments in that area and industry in their little niche specialty areas, and it enables so much more to get done. And I'd much rather, a very small slice of an enormous pie than a really big slice of a small pie. And deep down, I guess I'm a romantic at heart as well, and I'd like to see as much benefit come out of this as possible. And I know what I suck at, and so I'd like other people to be able to build on top.
People always say you need to know yourself in order to become successful, because you started the business from scratch. Now, if you were to do anything differently, what is one advice you would give yourself that would help others who are thinking of growing their business and starting their business?
Well, I sort of came from a very technical background and would always design and invent things my entire life, actually, ever since I can remember. One of my regrets is not having the confidence to go ahead with something earlier. So I had so many ideas which I'd sit on, a design and everything, but I didn't know how to get to that next step, which is making it reality. So in hindsight, I would have loved to have the confidence to get out there earlier with these ideas, talk to other people, network, and learn on how to take these ideas into reality. So that's the one main regret I have.
At what point in time did you develop that confidence?
Well, I won a scholarship to go to this thing at Curtin University called Ignition, which is designed, they call it a Master of Business in 6 days. Whether it is or not, that's not for me to comment. But it was my initial orientation into the business world. So most of my career had been stuck in dark laboratories doing sciencey stuff and engineering. And this was my first exposure on how to talk to an investor, how to sell your idea. And I don't mean sell it for cash necessarily. It's about getting other people just as passionate as you are about something. And it taught me how to communicate it, I suppose. And it taught me that there was no need to be paranoid and keep these ideas to myself when so many other people in the sort of tech space and innovation space they just love something because it's cool, and they will genuinely help you. And it took a while to understand that. And so I kept my cards quite close to my chest initially, but now I've learned to embrace it. And I like to shout things from the rooftops.
Good on you, Tom. We will be shouting from the rooftop for you as well. So my takeaway from this is not to be afraid to know what your shortcomings are, where you need to go and get help, and in fact think about growing the pie before you even cut up the pie. Tom, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much for your time. Really nice to chat.